Órale, Cholo Truck, los tres chingones boxing. Shouts to all the chingones y chingonas. Okay, we're good. All right, man. Here we are. Mikey's supposed to be jumping on here with us in a second. But until then, let's go ahead and let's bring in our gran chingon, el mero one, Mr. Jerry Contreras.
Hey Ed, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hey Ed, before Mikey comes on, I want to throw a quick shout out. I know that you get his T-shirts. He just sent me David Martinez, the historian, sent me a
Mhm.
really nice long sleeve shirt, a flashlight. I'll tell you, this guy Dave Martinez, he's talking about a historian. He's been following boxing since 1960. When he lived in, I think he was living already in. He grew up, I believe, in East LA. No, he grew up in Santa Barbara. He used to, every Friday and Saturday, he used to take the bus from Santa Barbara to come to the LA Coliseum as a little kid to watch the fights. I mean, this man loves boxing as much as you, myself, and Mikey. You know what I mean? And those of you that are interested in the history of boxing, please log in to his website, which is dmboxing.com. Guys, last week he had a really good article on Jerry Quarry. This week, this is one of the articles that he has. He has several articles, but this guy is a legend among legends when it comes to historians. So please follow dmboxing.com. Maybe you could put it up later, Cholo,
Mm,
so people can
yeah,
follow him. I'll tell you, if you want to know more about boxing, the history of boxing, this is the website you want to look at. Thank you, Dave, for always watching our shows. Mil gracias.
I have not met or come across anybody that does it the way he does. When it comes to the history of boxing,
Yeah.
I had him on here one time quite a while back. I want to get him back on here, but and we were just throwing names out there. I would throw names, people and the guys in the chat would just throw out names, and this guy just like he could just run down the weight class that
Yeah.
the fighter fought, Mando Ramos, and just opponents, and it
Uh,
was so good, man. I appreciate. He sends me a lot of those articles, and I read
uh-huh,
through them, and I safely put. I got a few folders stacked
uh-huh.
of them, and I just want to save them. I just want them to be there. Like I've read them and everything, but I want
Yeah.
them there, man. And years from now, just to have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you when this man passes, I mean, he is not only but taking a legacy with him, but he's leaving us a legacy. That's
Yeah.
why these papers, I myself too, I have a stack of them. But you go to his website, that same article that he sends us every week, and dude, for him to send it to all the way to Tampa, I mean, you're looking at a dollar something. It ain't just a one little stamp, you know what I mean? Because sometimes he sends, I mean, it's pretty heavy the envelopes that he sends me, but I mean, but this guy loves, but he's leaving us a legacy with all of these articles. Plus, he's leaving us his legacy when he passes of his website, which we can always go back and look at. Thank you, David, for everything you do for the boxing community and for us personally, Los Tres Chingones.
Absolutely. Shout outs to David Martinez from dmboxing.com. So another man that is leaving a legacy on Mikey TV 365 is one Mr. Mike Zavala.
Hey, thank you, Ed. Was that a
Hey, what's
backhand
up,
compliment?
Mikey?
Was that a backhand compliment, or was that for real?
Ah,
What's up,
you're
Dave?
leaving, hey, Mikey, you're leaving a legacy, carnal. You're leaving a legacy, brother.
All right,
You
thank
are,
you.
man.
Well, we're leaving a legacy right here. Los Tres
Yes,
Right
we
Chingones.
here.
are, without a
That's right.
doubt, brother. That's
That's
right.
right.
Anthony, I talked to him on the phone um, after I had the fight with Buzz. If anybody's interested in that fight, it's for free on YouTube. It's just up there. You guys can go watch it. They just cut the entrance music off. But I talked to Popeye Ray after that fight on the phone. But I've never met him in person though. So what's up, Dimitro? Yeah, we'll get into
Dimitro.
TKO. Hey, Pastor Zamora, man.
What up?
Pastor, he's definitely interested in the fight that's happening over the weekend. We'll touch on it just for a quick second. But before we do that, gentlemen, we were off last week. I didn't get a chance to get you guys' thoughts. I went live during the week and I spoke my piece. But I want to go ahead and I want to ask you guys, man. I know it's already it's already a minute long and everything, but you guys never gave your thoughts, man. We were off last week. David, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts, man? The New York State Athletic Commission basically just saying, you know what? We're just going to stick with the ref. The ref ruled that there was no penalty. We're talking about the Tank Davis Lamont Roach fight, the taking the knee, the going to the corner. The New York State Athletic Commission reviewed it. They came out and they said, we are going to review it. And then they just came out and said, like, you know what, we're gonna leave it at the ref's call. What's your thoughts, David?
Disappointing. Disappointing. It just shows the corruption of boxing. I mean, talking about, we always talk about corruption that we hear. I mean, this is corruption. And they're not even embarrassed to hide it. But what are we going to do? Stop watching boxing? You know what I mean? What are we going to do? Appeal it? Well, I mean, we can't appeal it. We're fans. We're aficionados. But it just shows the corruption in boxing, and it also shows it's disappointing. Very disappointing.
Yeah. Why say that you're gonna review it? Like, why? I don't understand that part. Why would you say that you're gonna review it? Just say right off the rip, we're just gonna stick with the referee's call. Like, why would you say
It's
you're gonna
corruption.
review it?
It's corruption.
Man,
That's the bottom line.
man, I just, yeah. Mikey, what's your thoughts, man?
Oh man, Tank Davis is the A side, corrupted. There's money involved in boxing, right? Money talks, and yeah, another black guy for the sport, man. And that TKO might be another black guy for the sport, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, disappointed.
Okay, okay, because David, I mean, you and I talked about it
We
before they
did.
came up with the ruling, and you and I both agreed like they have to because there's no way around this. There's no the footage is there. It's clear. There's no way that you could say like, well, we didn't see it. At the time, they said there was a malfunction with the camera and everything,
Yeah.
but
And
now
even that, Cholo, even that was a lie. Even that
even
was
that
a lie. Yeah,
now
that
I
was a lie.
believe
Dude, come on,
now
man.
I
So
believe
it's
without a
yeah,
shadow of a doubt. Now I believe that that
yeah.
was a lie as well.
Even that
Yeah.
was a lie. It's corrupt. Yeah.
Okay, but now, okay, because this is right in your face.
Yeah.
There's no, you cannot, there's no other way you can argue with this. You cannot get Johnny Cochran to make you believe something different. It's there on footage, it's on camera. He stepped back, he didn't get pushed, he didn't get, they weren't in a clinch and he got pushed out. Nothing. It is clear as day. Okay, so then I mean, just can the referee just if the fighter decides to jump out of the ring, get towed off, take a minute, and then roll back in the ring, as long as the referee says I'll allow it, then there, I mean, is that where boxing's headed? Because
No, I guarantee you, Ed, after this ruling, if anybody does it again, they're going to stop the fight, they disqualify the fighter, or they're going to do the 10 count without a doubt. But you know what? It just shows corruption. But they are not going to let this ever happen again. But it just happened that it was, the Tank Davis fight. There was probably a lot of money involved. But that's why I can't wait to talk about TKO. Hopefully, that league is going to make a difference because you know what? Us as fans, as boxing aficionados, we love the sport. We're not going to give up on it here in America, but we're going to have a different option to see maybe a cleaner sport. But anytime a man touches it, there's always corruption, but not as blatant as what we saw with the New York Commission. I mean, that's throwing it in our face, bro.
Mikey, can something like this happen again? Like I said, there's no way you can argue. There's nothing there's no conversation, there's no debating, there's no argument, there's no defense, nothing. It's on video, it's there, it's clearer than clearer. And they said they were going to review it, which I think makes them even look worse. Just say right off the top, just say like, we're not going to review anything, we're just going to stand with the referee's call. Just say that right off the top. But they didn't. They said they're going to review it. It took them a whole week. I don't know how it takes you a whole week to look at a video to come up with a conclusion. There's only one conclusion. Mikey, can this happen again?
I believe so. I believe it could happen again. There's too much money in boxing. There's too much corruption in boxing. We are going to see it again in our lifetime, Ed and Dave. We're going to see it.
You think so?
Maybe not now. Yeah, dude.
Mhm.
Boxing is so corrupt, man. It's so
Yeah.
corrupt, and we're going to see it again. Maybe not next month, but it's definitely going to happen sooner than later. Watch. Watch, you mark my words. It's gonna happen. Some bullshit crap like that.
Okay, I think of like Tony Weeks when he stopped the fight on Rolly Romero versus Barrosos, right?
Exactly.
Like at least there, Tony Weeks could say like, well, from where I was standing, I thought the shots were landing, and something like that. At least there's some sort of face that you can show, and everybody can be like, nah, come on, you saw it. But there's nothing that you can debate here. There's no other side of the story. There is nothing, and it just right in front of everybody, they're just gonna say we're sticking with the referee's call. That I don't get it. I like, wow, man,
Hey,
unbelievable.
Ed, it looks like we're going to have Tank and Roach too, probably in
Yeah,
June. What's your
right.
predictions on that?
I think Tank Davis beats him. I
Yeah,
do.
me too.
I don't. Okay, I don't think, and I said this before. I think Roach, that's as good as Roach can do. I think that's the top level of Lamont Roach. I think Tank Davis can do a little bit better. I think he can. I think I don't know how serious he really took this fight. He's already talking about retirement, but he was already thinking about a Jake Paul fight, which that's already a clown show. But I think if si se pone las pilas and he says like, okay, forget retirement, forget Jake Paul fight, let's handle this business right here, right now. I'm not thinking about anything else. I think Tank Davis even probably stops him.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
don't. I don't, gentlemen.
Talk to us, Mikey. Talk to us, man.
Tank Davis has trouble with shorter guys, Pitbull Cruz, and he also has trouble with slick black fighters. Have you noticed that if you look at his record, he has no black fighters, maybe a couple. Remember the last fight, not this one, but the one before. What was that guy's name? Slick black
Martin,
fighter.
Martin,
He was doing,
Martin, Martin,
Frank
yeah,
Martin.
Martin was
Frank
Martin.
doing
Martin.
good, but he got. This guy is the Marquez to the Pacquiao. He trained with him. He knows with him. He's 100% knows every of his moves. He knows who he is. Second fight, he's gonna know him even more. Tank Davis isn't focused. He's talking about retirement. Ed, I'm gonna quote you. Once you start talking about retirement, guess what? You're not all there in boxing. You don't love the sport, and you're not 100%. You're 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Also, he's talking about Jake Paul. He's talking about there's so many distractions. This guy, Roach, he's a real deal, man. He doesn't have power. But he's a boxer and he's a gym rat, and he's trained with Tank Davis. He knows his moves. I believe he's gonna even do better.
Uh, no,
I don't.
okay. Nah, no,
You said
I don't.
you're using your
No,
quote, Ed. I'm using your own quote. If you're
okay,
talking
okay,
about
okay.
retirement, that's
You're
your
right,
quote.
Ricky. And you're 100% right. Yes, and I stand by that quote. I stand by that quote. However, now that there's unfinished business, because to me, Tank Davis was looking to get past this match and get into some Jake Paul clown show, and that's not happening. So now to shut everybody up, I think he's gonna find a new hunger for this. I'm with you, Mikey. And like I said, I stand by what I said. Yes, definitely. But he's gonna find a new hunger at least for this one fight, and I think he stops Lamont Roach. And by the way, I want to go ahead and ask this, Mikey. You said he has problems with slick fighters. Is Lamont Roach and Frank Martin, are they slick fighters or are they just black? It seems like whenever anybody says, "Oh, a slick fighter," it's just like a black dude. Like Lamont Roach and Frank Martin, I don't think they're slick at all.
Uh, how can I say it? The shoulder roll? What I seen from Mount Roach, a shoulder roll. That's how I think when I talk about slick shoulder roll coming at you, using their footwork. That's what I call slick. But it's guys with good footwork, guys with good fundamentals. Pitbull Cruz gave him a hard time. Is he a slick fighter? No, but he was a shorter fighter, and he had good footwork. Not good, not great, but I'm saying good fundamentals. And if you look at Tank Davis, like I said, his record, he doesn't fight black fighters. That must be a reason. That must be a reason.
Okay. All right. I look, if the rematch well, okay, so the numbers came in and now we're getting conflicted numbers. Okay. The first set of numbers that came in, apparently it was like 120 to 150,000 buys. Now we're hearing that it was probably more to like 240, 250,000 buys. either way, I thought the fight did better than it did better than I thought it was gonna do, especially with the pay-per-view that happened the week before. The only one that wins in all of this, and I said this last week, the only one that wins in all this fiasco is Tank Davis. He wins in all of it, man, because he never got penalized. He stays with the victory. Heck, they took the victory away from Ryan Garcia. Okay, he stays with the victory. And in the rematch against a smaller guy that he moved up from 130 to 135, he's probably going to make, I don't know if I should say double, but the rematch is going to make a lot more money. The rematch will make more money with Lamont Roach, man. It's going to make more money. So, I mean, good gosh, man. After that fight, I think he does some Jake Paul clown show. I saw Benavides being interviewed by Jake Paul. They like have this hatred for Canelo, but all right. Well, Mikey says it'll happen again.
Hey Ed, could you imagine a Tank 5'5"? He's 5'5". He's really 5'4". And
Mm.
Jake Paul 6'1". Jake Paul fought at 227. Now he's gonna fight this little midget at 140. You know what I mean? I mean, he fights at 135. He's gonna go one. I mean, it's a clown show.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It is. It's
Silly.
a complete
Yeah.
clown show, man. But oh well. All right, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and let's get into before we get into the fights tomorrow, let's go ahead and let's get to David Benavides and what's going on with him. There's some news with David Benavides. There was a whole talk like, okay, is he gonna get the winner of Bivol and Better BF? We all know Bivol won, so now there's talks of a trilogy happening. However, Better BF is on ice right now for Ramadan, so that fight's not gonna happen to the end of the year. It looked okay. So this where everything's so confusing now because it looked like Benavides was wanting the Bivol fight, but then it kind of seems like no, I want you to believe that I want that fight, but I really don't want that fight. When I hear him talk, and then when I hear Samson Lukowicz talk, where it's like, hey, we're only fighting for the real belt. That is it. We're only fighting for the real belt. But now it's coming out that no, they're not going after that fight. And it looks like it's going to be the Colin Smith fight, which I want to make it clear. I'm not against that fight. I think that's a pretty damn good fight. Mikey, I what's going on with this? Who's he going to fight? Who's he going after here?
Well, according for what I just seen, he doesn't even want the Colin Smith fight. I don't know if
Mm.
I've seen something that's a day late or something. He doesn't want the Colin Smith fight. No, he's sticking to his guns. He wants that Bivol fight. He wants the Bivol fight, and the WBC is putting pressure on Bivol. They're gonna strip him if he doesn't. They're giving him I don't know how many weeks or whatever to make a decision. They're gonna strip him. That's what, according to the WBC and according to what I've been hearing. Uh, I don't know if I can believe David Benavides because they're known to lie a lot on that Canelo and this is and that. That Colin Smith fight, that's a good fight. If Better Biev and Bivol have a trilogy, which I don't want to see it, and I want to see that Bivol versus David Benavides fight. And Turkey Al Sheikh, he said he wants to make the biggest fights. This is one of the biggest fights, and he's not making it, man. So TKO, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm all over the place with this, and I hope they strip him.
Hey, okay, but because there's an issue with Bivol, right? If whomever he fights next, one of the sanctioning bodies is going to strip him. The WBA and the IBF. The IBF has their mandatory. So if he doesn't fight the mandatory for the IBF, which is some guy, I forgot his name, I never heard of him, then the WBC strips him as soon as the bell rings. If he fights his WBC mandatory, then the IBF is going to strip him. So I don't think, regardless of whatever decision Bivol makes next, I don't think he stays unified champion. But David, what's your thoughts? What's going on over here with the Benavides camp with Samson Lukowicz? Is he going to go after Bivol? Is he going after Colin Smith? And what fight do you want to see next?
You know what? Ramadan, first of all, it starts February 28th and it's over on March 29th. It's only a month long. So
Okay.
Ramadan has nothing to do with are they going to fight or not. It has nothing to do with it. They're going to do the trilogy. And you know what? At the end of the day, they have to do the trilogy. I mean, we saw it with Barrera, Morales. We've seen it. You know what I mean? It has to be a trilogy. Am I excited about it? Like Mikey, I'm not excited about it, but there has to be a trilogy. And whether now all of a sudden because of TKO, now the WBC grew some balls. You know what I mean? Now the IBF has always had him, but the WBC. I mean, look at Charlo. He was the WBC champion what for 2.5, close to 3 years. You know what I mean? Look at Benavides when he was supposed to fight Canelo, and it never happened. You know, so all this about the WBC, we're gonna strip belts. Maybe the IBF will strip the belt, but WBC, dude, they're bought and sold also, man. And you know what? At the end of the day, when TKO comes in, if they don't fight, and I think they're gonna fight in October, just like it's going to be the same thing. It'll be the trilogy in October, and then come the 2026, then they don't care about the WBC, IBA, and everything else because, dude, they're going to have one belt, and it's going to go through TKO. And I see, without a doubt, Bivol being one of their star fighters because they're going to take star fighters like Canelo, Ryan Garcia. They're taking their own little crew. So that's what I foresee happening.
Okay, let me
I
ask
don't see
everybody in the
Benavides as part of that equation. Not now. Maybe
okay.
after 2026, yes, but not now.
Okay, let me ask everybody in the chat, and because I'm gonna ask David and Mikey the same question. Would you rather watch? I'm not talking about what do you think is gonna happen next. No, would you rather watch the trilogy with Bivol versus Better BF, or would you rather watch Bivol versus Benavides next? Put a one if you'd rather see the trilogy. Put a two if you'd rather see Bivol versus Benavides next. David, which one would you rather see next, brother?
Benavides. I mean, because we're
Okay.
going to see the same thing. It's going to be a boring fight against Better Beef. But I mean, through boxing history, it's a trilogy, 1-1 trilogy. But it's not going to happen. But which one? Benavides, without a doubt. And I think Benavides will lose that one.
Okay, okay. Mikey, which one would you rather see next?
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna see I'm just gonna repeat what Dave said. If we see the number three, it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be like a chess match, and one guy punches.
Boring.
A close fight. It's boring because we already seen it. Of course, right? The first fight, second fight, we were kind of excited. It was a tactical fight, a dangerous fight, but we already know what's gonna happen. A close fight, Bivol might get the edge because he's getting better. Beaver's already getting older. You can see it. All right, I want to see Benavides. Now it's his time to step up to the plate and fight a guy in his prime of Bivol. But we're talking about TKO. Maybe they're saving Bivol for Canelo. They're saving Bivol for Canelo. Give him the trilogy, let him, and then they're gonna force it. And then David Benavides is gonna be asked out because I don't see him in the equation as for now with TKO.
Is it a boring fight? I mean, I was entertained, but I'm kind of with you guys that I wasn't like at the edge of my seat either. Like I thought it was a good. Both of them were good. I thought both of them were good fights, but I don't know, man. You guys are saying something that I guess I kind of feel a little bit like. I wouldn't say they were boring fights, but I don't know what it is, man. It didn't have me at the edge of my seat. For one reason or another, I'm not excited for the trilogy. Should the trilogy happen, I'm not.
It's a boxing match. It's not a fight. You know what I mean? I mean, those of us that love boxing, I mean, we enjoyed it, but it's not a fight. It's not a Morales Barrera. You know what I mean? It's not a Mickey Ward fight. You know what I mean? Dude, no, it's not, you know. It's a boxing match, and we enjoyed it because it's a nice boxing match. Like Mikey said, you know what? It was a chess match, and it was a good chess match. Good fighters, both of them, but it wasn't a fight.
It was a good fight, but I'm with you guys, man. For one reason or another, I'm just not excited for the trilogy.
No.
I'm not, man. If it happens, it happens. But yeah, man, I'm just not excited for it. Damn, I don't know why that is.
We already
Wow.
seen it. We already know what's gonna happen. We already seen it.
There isn't going to be a knockout.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not going to be a knockout.
Only 12.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to go 12 rounds.
Good.
And
It's
then
a
we're
good
going to be
fight.
at the edge of our seat. Who won? You know.
If
Same
there was
thing.
nothing else on the table, like the Benavidez fight, I'm down to see number 3. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
me
that was
too.
a good fight. But we got Benavidez that wants to prove himself, and he's a mandatory. Give him a chance, man. Give him a chance.
So to cap this subject off, Mikey, who does Benavides fight next?
I mean, if he can't get that Bivol fight, yeah, Colin Smith. Colin Smith's a good fight.
Dude, what about Yard? I would rather see Morrell fight Callum Smith and have Benavides fight Yard. Yard's the real deal. I would rather see him
I,
fight Yard.
I,
Yeah,
Not Callum Smith. Callum this dude, he's good, but you know what? He's getting shot. You know what I mean? He's been in some wars, bro.
yeah.
Callum
yeah.
Smith and Yard hasn't been in some wars. Your Yard has not. I'd like to see. It's going to show me a lot if he fights Yard, but he's not. But it's going to show me a lot if he's a real deal Benavides at 178. Because right now I don't think he is. I don't think he is right now.
At 175,
I mean 175. Yeah.
I, hey man, I'm not so sure Benavides could get past Colin Smith, man. I think that'd be a
Really?
good fight. Yeah, man. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sold on that one.
Well, I
But
like
if
Callum Smith, but I just saw that, you know what? He's been in a lot of wars, man. And Benavides
yeah,
is going to attack, do what Canelo did. I like Yard more because I think Yard will challenge David. I think that would be a really good fight. That was going to show us if Benavides is a real deal at 175. I don't think he's a real deal at 175 yet.
Benavides
Yeah, he was a weight
or
bully at 168, Benavides. I don't think he's a
yeah.
real deal yet at 175. I mean, he has morale. Then he fought the other guy and fought in 3 years. He hasn't proved himself. Prove himself with Callum Smith or with Yard.
Yeah.
That's going to show me if
Well,
he is.
yeah, either one of those is fine with me. If he fights Bivol, that'll be cool. It's something different. I'd be more excited for that than the trilogy. Heck, I'd be more excited to see Benavides versus Colin Smith than I would to see the trilogy. Being honest, man, I don't. That's wow. All right, hey gentlemen, just a real quick little fight here that's happening tomorrow. Shout outs to Pastor Zamora, Lester Martinez versus Jashawn James. Both of them are undefeated. Now, I've been hearing a little bit about this Martinez guy, Lester Martinez. He's from Guatemala. He's fighting at 168. He's undefeated, but I've never seen him fight. It's on Pro Box. If anybody's interested, check it out. He's an up and comer. I think he's like 18-0, or yeah, he's 18-0. From Guatemala. Shouts to all the Guatemaltecos in Central America, and apparently he's the pride, man. He's the pride of Guatemala, undefeated, fights tomorrow on Pro Box. If anybody's interested in that, I've never seen him fight, but I'll definitely check him out tomorrow, man.
Hey Ed, what weight? I've never heard of this guy. What weight does he fight?
168.
Oh, really?
168, yeah,
What's
168.
his record? You know what his record is?
Yeah, he's 18-0.
Really? How many knockouts?
Let me see. I think I just it's a 10-round fight tomorrow. Let me see. I don't see his knockouts.
He's on Pro Box. How much is that
It's
Pro
on Pro
Box?
Box, yeah.
Yeah, what is that? Like $1.50 a month or something, guys? Do you guys know?
I don't know the price of it. No, it can't be that much though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard it was cheap. I forgot.
Cheap. All right. I'm gonna watch this fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna check him out as well. Okay, 15 by knockout.
Hmm.
15.
What is that,
So
Mikey? 75%?
How many fights does he have?
18 and 0?
18.
15?
Yeah, it's 15 knockouts. Yeah, that's more than 70% more than yeah. Yes, good
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's fighting another undefeated fighter, but that guy James that he's fighting, this is only gonna be his 10th fight. So yeah, I'll definitely want to see that. Cambosa's junior fights as well tomorrow. If anybody's interested in that, I don't know who the heck he's fighting. Just real
Ed,
quick. Yeah.
On a side note, did you hear about the Cambosos fight? What's happening in Australia?
No, what's happening?
I believe they have. I believe it's 12,000. Somebody please correct me. They only have 1,200 tickets sold.
Wow.
They cannot sell tickets to see. Dude, he's done.
Yeah, Cambosos is done, dude.
He's done.
And that's what I was gonna ask you guys. Is Cambosa's done? Is this it?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
So he
no.
had his
I
15
gave
minutes.
him a chance. I gave him a chance, and nah, he sucks, dude.
yeah.
Okay, somebody just put me up on game, and you're absolutely right, Demetrio. So the Guatamanteco who's fighting tomorrow, Lester Martinez, he's fighting uh Joshan James. That is true. A friend of ours, man, G Funky Boxing. That's his guy. That's his fighter. G Funky got into promoting in boxing, so he rarely does his YouTube channel anymore, and that is his guy. That's right,
Really?
Demetrio. Yeah, that's right,
Wow.
Demetrio. Now he's not full 100% promoter. He's like part promoter, but you're right, Demetrio. You're right. Yes, that is true, man. He's undefeated as well. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let me yeah, I think Cambosa's he's done, man. It was a fun ride while it lasted, but that was it. All right, gentlemen, before we get to the fights tomorrow, let's go ahead and let's get into TKO. More information has come out. Did you have to see the Clarissa Shields fight? No, I didn't know that she recently fought. Um, but no, I am interested for the Michaela Mayer Sandy Ryan fight next week. I got declined from my credentials, so I was going to head out there to Vegas. But man, I can't wait for that fight. All right, gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about TKO before we get into the fights tomorrow. There's more information that's come out, and there's some pretty cool things. Now, everybody was, or not everybody, but there was a lot of people talking about that. Hey, they're here to take over, which I still do believe that they're just not saying it. And it's gonna take some time. But a few things here, fellas. Okay, so now a rough draft pay scale has come out on how they're gonna be paying these fighters, and this is the way it's gonna look: 20,000 to any unranked fighter, 50,000 to any ranked fighter who's ranked between 5th and 10th, 125,000 for the ranked fighters between 3 and 4 if they're ranked 3 and 4, 125 grand for them. 375,000 for anybody who's challenging for the title, and 750,000 for the champion who's defending the title. These pay scales are actually pretty damn good, man. Especially when you think about boxing. I mean, you got guys like Brian Norman Jr., who's really not racking in these kind of numbers, man. Um, so these numbers, while they're not, paying you millions, but 20,000 to an unranked fighter, I mean, I don't think there's any complaints there. But yeah, there's more and more information coming out on how they're setting this up. David, what's your thoughts? I know Mikey has thoughts on this. What's your thoughts on TKO?
Ed, I'll repeat what I said 2 weeks ago. And same thing happened with the PGA. When the same group, they all dress the same, these Arabs come over here to America and they say we're starting our own league. They started their own league 2022, I believe, June of 2022, and everybody in America was doing what we're doing today. Oh my God, they're taking it over, dude. It's just another league. Today,
Yep.
golf people, they could watch PGA, they could watch live, and there's 3 or 4 other ones. Same thing's going to happen. Are they going to take the big fighters like Canelo, the big names, Ryan Garcia, and so forth? Yes. And they're not going to fall into that pay scale. They are going to be elite fighters because Turkey is going to make sure that they make 30 million a fight, 20 million a fight, and that's going to be the carrot. You know what I mean? To bring but dude, Oscar de la Hoya is going to get off his butt and he's going to start working harder because he is not going to give that up. Matchroom's not going to give up. Top rank, dude. We're going to have American boxing. We're going to have this other type of boxing, and we're blessed as fans because we could pick who we want to see. But are we still going to see the our elite fighters in America? Of course, they're going to stay here. They're going to get paid a lot more. I think it's going to take 2 or 3 years for this TKO to bring up fighters Because, dude, when they're paying 20,000 a fight, and Oscar La Hoya saying, "Hey, come fight with me, and I guarantee you, I'm going to have you a belt in 5 years." You know what? They're going to come over here. So, I mean, that's what's going to happen. Same thing that happened with golf. Same thing.
Yeah.
Two different leagues.
All right, Mikey, what's your thoughts?
Competition is good. Competition is good, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's just the same thing as what's going on in boxing. It's just like leagues. It was the Al Heyman league. Remember the PBC fighters only fought PBC fighters. These guys are gonna fight only these guys. Now like the La Jolla fighters are only gonna fight the La Jolla. So it's a good thing. Give us make some good fights, but it's kind of like a bad thing also if they don't mix. They have to work together somehow, some way. And I don't know, man. Dana White, he's a UFC guy. What is he doing in boxing? Does he even know how the sport works? That's the thing. I have concerns. And then Turkey wants to make the big fights, and then he's blocking that Benavides fight versus Bivol. He told Bivol, he gave him an ultimatum: "You're not gonna fight. You're not gonna fight. Don't bite the hand that feeds you." In other words, so that's the bad part. They're using Canelo as a figurehead to Dana White's gonna promote his next fight. So they got the face of boxing with TKO. Hopefully, it's a good thing. You said the numbers are good, Ed. Hopefully, they bring some young stars. But like Dave said, it's gonna be different leagues. Is it gonna be good? It's competition is good, but if you can't mix the fighters and we're not getting the fights we want, it's just another PBC type of thing, type of league. You know what I mean?
Hey, Ed, let me also add this. I'm not
Uh,
a prophet or a son of a prophet, but I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. And the reason why, because Dana White doesn't know how to play well with others.
Yep.
Dana White, dude, he does not know how to play well with others. And him and Turkey, they're going to come out. There's going to be a disagreement over pay, over something, and they're not going to last. So those people that are worrying, and you're absolutely right. I think Demetrio said, and live, that other Arab group, dude, they're doing awful now. But they try to recruit Tiger Woods. They try to recruit all these big guys with a lot of money, and these guys were loyal, but a couple of disloyal guys went with them, and now they're not doing good. But it gives the fans an opportunity to watch two types of golf. And you know what? It's going to be the same thing, but it's not going to last because Dana White does not play well with others. He plays with their money, but these Arabs, they know the game.
all right, okay. I'm gonna disagree with you guys on this, man. I'm gonna disagree with you guys. So, okay, I understand that there's two faces, right? Two faces that everybody's looking at because there's only two faces that's really showing their faces, and that is Turk and Dana White. And I think there's people that don't like Dana White for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't have anything against him. I know there was that video where he smacked his wife not too long ago, but I don't really I don't really have any bad ill will towards him. I've come across boxing fans that have hatred for him. I don't know why that is, um but there's another guy, Khan. Okay, he's with
WWF,
the
WWE,
yes,
right?
he's with the WWE. All right, not too many people mention that guy. Okay, all right. Here is the thing, fellas. I not only do I think it's gonna work, I think this is going to take over boxing. And when I say take over, it doesn't mean that that's the only thing that's going to be in boxing. No, there's going to be other small promotions. And it's not going to be right away with the snap of a finger. I've said it before. Give it 10 years. Give it 10 years. Everybody that's talking about, like, oh, so it's going to be a five belt era. So is it just going to be like another promotion? They have to work with others. No, they do not. Okay. No, they do not. Look, this is the first time like all the other promotions, that's what they're called, promotions. This one's actually being called a league, right? You got the pay rankings from 20,000 to 750,000. This is not for your stars. Okay, this is not for stars. These are for unknown guys. So who's going to watch this? Does anybody just watch a bunch of unknowns? No, not really. So then how do you make this work? That is how you make it work with the league, with TKO. All right. Is WWE the only wrestling promotion out there? No. Do they have the best wrestlers? No. Some yes, but some not. All right. But what sells? The brand, WWE, WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Money in the Bank. These are all the brand is what sells, right? There's other MMA promotions out there. Does UFC have the best fighters? Maybe maybe some they do. Maybe there's a few that they don't. But the brand is what sells. UFC. That's what sells. That's where it's at. That's where the money's at. So I do believe that eventually this will monopolize boxing. I do, man. I think eventually, not at first, but like I said, give this sucker 10 years. By that time, the stars that we know today, they're out. They're gone. All right. This pay scale is basically to the unknowns. And if the league works, people are going to be tuning in to the league, which is TKO, and we're going to start to get to know some of the unknown guys that we would have never known. We would have never known, who, some Julio Ortiz is, that has 5 fights and he's just fighting somewhere in Mexico or something of that sort. But you put him in this league, now we get to know who he is. And he's not going to fit in that pay scale once he becomes a big superstar because they got deep pockets, man. The Turk, they got deep pockets. I am with you guys, though, in the sense, what you said, David, that maybe Oscar and the rest of the guys may step up their game now and say, like, okay, I don't think they need to work with the sanctioning bodies. I don't think they need to work with others. I don't think they need to work with anybody because with these numbers, they're not going to bring in any superstars. And I don't think that's what I think they're in it for the long term.
But I
I
think
don't think
that they're going to take superstars
they
because they
might,
have
yeah.
to. No, no, they have to. I mean, look at Pro Box, dude.
Mm.
Finally, right now we're hearing about one of the fighters. That Pro Box been going at it for about 2 years now. How many people actually watch Pro Box? I don't know anybody that watches it.
I
You
don't
know
know.
what I mean? We're all boxing. We love boxing, dude. I don't even have it on my television.
But
And this is going to be the same thing. You know what I mean? Unless if they take the Ryan Garcia, which I do see that. I see them buying out their contracts, and they need to have big events like the Crawford Canelo fight to sell the brand. If they just start off with zero, Cholo, they're not going to last. I mean, they're not going to last. I don't care
and
if the WWE and MMA, dude, they're not going to last. It's America.
and
We're the ones that follow boxing. You know what I mean? We're
okay.
the ones that buy the pay-per-view. Yeah, you got Europe, you got Mexico, you got the Philippines, but dude, there's nothing like boxing in America. Nothing like boxing in
I,
America.
I, I want to bring back those days, David. I do, man. Where it's all about the U.S. of A. baby. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying, David? Okay, the guy that runs Pro Box, he actually came out and he started talking smack about this whole TKO promotion. The difference is, David. The difference is that Pro Box does not have the money that
No.
TKO is going to have. So when
Mhm.
you talk about promotion, and you're right. How many people watch Pro Box? Not too many, right? But the difference is that TKO has a heck of a lot more money to promote this stuff. And you're right, like this guy, Lester Martinez, and some of these guys, they're going to be known more. Why? Because TKO is going to be everywhere. TKO is going to be promoted. TKO is going to be out there. People, they're going to have tournaments with brackets, from what I understand. That's a rumor out there. And that drives people in. It drives. Oh, and another thing that came out is that he's looking to have guys fight every 5 months. I mean, with the money backing it up, I'm with you guys. There's going to be little to no star power, but the star power is going to be the brand TKO, and I do think people are going to tune in. Unlike Pro Box, that doesn't have a lot of money, TKO is going to have a lot of money to keep these guys busy. And as soon as you see one guy fight that you like, you
You're
know
gonna
that in
follow.
5 months,
That's right.
you know that in 5 months he's fighting again.
Yeah.
You know he's fighting. There's not like, oh, who's he gonna fight next? Who's he gonna fight next? And it's like, you're gonna see him in a few months later. So I think this is gonna catch on, man. I do. I do think it
You know what?
catches on.
You know what, Ed? I hope so because I want to have the option to see fights at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the morning, or at 1 o'clock in the morning here in Tampa. So I want to have that option. Yes,
Yeah,
and I will watch it at 11 in the afternoon.
competition is good, man. So
Yeah,
if that blows up, we still got Golden Boy, and they're trying to keep up and
yeah,
top rank and all that. That we're gonna win.
yeah.
If anything, check this out. Check this out. Before we move on to the fights tomorrow, if any to anybody and everybody watching, if anything, this is gonna wake up the promoters that we have right now
Yeah.
to say we got
And
to step up our
it's
game.
already waking them up. It's
Yeah,
already waking them up. Yes, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
yeah,
So if you're against TKO, just be for it to the fact that it lights a fire to the rest of these promoters. So
Ed, put it this way. We haven't had a clapback Thursday in 3 weeks since all these announcements came out. So Oscar is too busy keeping his fighters, thinking of how to pay back. He doesn't have time to clown around with clapback. I'm serious. Three
yeah,
weeks. Last
yeah,
time we had clapback Thursday. So it's
yeah.
getting him off his ass and saying, hey, it's time to focus on my fighters. Clapback Friday, right?
yeah, he's
Yes,
done.
sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, we do have some fights tomorrow outside of Pro Box, outside of Cambosis, making his huge return that everybody's waiting for. Let's actually get into some stuff that's going on. Mono Ramos is in the co-main event. Um, I saw the weigh-ins today. He's fighting this guy. Shoot, I can't pronounce his name. Scram, Email Scram. Um, I think this is kind of just like a showcase fight for Mono Ramos. This guy Scram is 16 with I'm sorry, 16 wins with 3 losses. He's 29 years old, so he's a little bit older than Mono Ramos. I didn't realize Mono Ramos is only 24 years old, man.
Yeah, he's a
Um,
youngster.
yeah, I didn't realize he was that young. David, Mono Ramos, I mean, this should be a showcase fight for him. What do you want to see from him, man? And going forward, I mean, what's this going to do for him? Should he just show off and knock this guy out? What do you want to see from Mono?
Dude, Bono Ramos fought like 2 months ago. He
Yeah,
fought like
yes,
two
he
months
did.
ago and he fought at
Yes.
160. Is he fighting at 160 this time? Or I heard he was going to go down to 154. His last fight, he looked very good at 160. At 154, he was not looking good his past 2 fights. But if he's going to fight at 160, I hope it's the same Mono that showed up 2 months ago. If it's at 154, I hope it's not that same Mono that showed up his last 3 fights ago.
You're absolutely correct. I remember after he was being interviewed and he said he wants to go down to 154. Um, it says super welterweight, so it looks like it's 154. Yeah.
You know what? He's not a threat at 154 compared to Virgil Ortiz, compared to all the Murtadov, with all the Russians. Dude, he's not a threat. He needs to stay at 160. I see him being a contender at 160, not at 154.
Okay. Do you think this could deplete him? Do you think he needs to watch out tomorrow? I mean, he did have a fight just 2 months ago.
You know what? I think he's going to be even better because you know what? Like they say, man, like Mikey always says, you know what? They have to be in the ring. They have to be fighting. And yeah, he has to be in the ring. And you know what? He just had that fight 2 or 3 months ago. He's back in the ring. I think he's going to look great. But I want him at 160, not 154. He's not a threat to Virgil Ortiz at 154. No.
Okay. Mikey, Mono Ramos just fought a little over 2 months ago. He's back in the ring against somebody that he should beat. But his last fight was at 160. Now he's going back to 154. Should we be worried?
Uh, it's a showcase fight. It's only a what 10 rounder. It's a 10 rounder.
It's a
Right?
12 rounder.
the 12 rounder? From the last time I checked, it was 10 rounds. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, on here it says 12 rounds. I'm not really sure, man.
Is it
Okay.
for a belt, Ed? Is it for a belt?
No, I
Usually the
don't
12
see
rounders are
anything.
set for belts, right?
You're right about that. So I don't see that it's for any belt, but it does say a 12-round contest.
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
nonetheless, Mikey, what do you make of Mono Ramos?
1-2.
Hey, Mikey, he did look really good 3 months ago. Remember, we weren't sure which mono, and he looked actually really good at 160, and he fought a good contender at 160.
I think. All right,
Well,
Mikey. Yeah, we got you. You're
yeah,
back, Mikey.
yeah. At 154, there's monsters. He if he believes in himself, he's gonna fight at 154. It's gonna be very hard, man. He needs to be on tip top shape and be very skilled. So I'm gonna see it tomorrow. Let's see what he brings. Of course, it's a showcase fight, but at 154, man, it's there's some monsters there, man. So yeah, it's a hard. But if he wants to test himself, we talked about this. So be it.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of concerns me with this is that it's not one thing or the other. It's both things put together that concerns me. It's a quick turnaround, and he's dropping weight to for this fight. That's
Yeah,
what concerns both of those. If it was just one of those things, oh, it was a quick turnaround. I'm like, yeah, I think he'll be all right. Oh, he went back down to 154, but he hasn't fought in about 6 months. He'll be all right. But the fact that it's a quick turnaround, about 2 months, and he's going back down in weight. Both of those things together is a little concerning to me. So we'll see what's up with Mono tomorrow,
Hey,
guys. Let's get
Ed,
yes, sir.
Ed, real quick, have you guys watched the Gabriel Rosado and Abner Mares show?
Yeah, mi gallo, pretty dope.
Migayo, have you seen it?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Okay, well, this last interview with, well, they actually, they're, I like watching it. I learned a lot from those guys. But this last episode, Gabriel Rosado talks about that. He says, when I fought Quinlan at 160, and then a couple of months later, they wanted me to fight Charlo at 154. He goes, that was the biggest mistake. I should have stayed at 160. I shouldn't have cut back to 154. He goes, I got my ass kicked at 154 because if I would have stayed at 160, I think I would have, without a doubt, been a champion. But he talks about that coming down after a couple of months to 154. So it's funny right now we're talking about it. That's exactly what Ramos is doing. Hopefully, he's not going to say that 5 years from now.
Yeah, hopefully not, man. Hopefully not. All right. So in the main event, we got the return of Tower Inferno Sebastian Fundora against Cordell Booker. Cordell Booker 23-1. Sebastian Fundora 21-1. This is definitely a title match. This is for the what is it? The WB. This for the WBO and the WBC Super Welterweight Championship. David, I'll start with you. What do you make in this fight, man?
I think, like Mikey says all the time, I'm going to quote him, it's a showcase fight. Even
Really?
though I don't know nothing about Booker, I've never seen Booker fight, I've never even heard of Booker. But you know what? We've had those showcase fights when all of a sudden, there's a big surprise, But as of right now, I think it's going to get him ready for Virgil Ortiz. I think Ortiz is going to be Fundora's next opponent, and I can't wait for that.
Okay, Mikey.
Yeah, there's no highlights. I only saw one highlight of Booker. Uh, I went on Box Record. He hasn't fought nobody unless I missed something. He has no power. He's a southpaw. He puts his hands down, and if Fundora overexposes himself, you know how Fundora sometimes gets out of character and starts going wild and puts his face. Yeah, he could get, like Dave said, something can happen. But if Fundora works off the jab, uses his length, and then he could beat him. This guy's beatable. He has no power. I said that. No power still. You get hit with a shot in the right time, you could still get knocked out. The Munguia, right? We talked about Munguia, but yeah, he has no power. Booker, it should be an easy work for Fundora. He'll beat him or even stop him in the late rounds. Fundora is just a better fighter. If he works off his jab like last fight, if he works off his jab and fights from the outside, and eventually he'll stop him. I got Fundora.
Okay. I mean, not too many people heard of Matazaliev either. Not too many people heard of
Yeah,
Sergey Boacek either. Not too many people
yeah.
heard of, Israel Madrimov either, man. I mean, I can't look. All right. Few things here. Few things here. For one, I've said it before and I want to say it again. I don't think Sebastian's that good, man.
No.
I mean, I think don't mistake what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a terrible fighter. That's not what I'm saying, right? He is unified champion. But in all reality, man, I think Tim Tszyu puts it to this dude, man. I think it was just all that blood in the face and they didn't stop the fight. But outside of that, I can name I would name multiple fighters that will Brian Mendoza this dude, man, that would just knock him out cold. I don't think Fundora is great. I don't think he's really good. I think he's pretty average. He doesn't use his size, he doesn't use his height, he doesn't use his length. He just kind of gets in there and kind of bangs it out, which is fun to watch. I'm not complaining about that. But I don't think this guy's that good, man. I give Booker a really good chance in this one. I don't think anybody I give him a pretty good chance. Well, I shouldn't say anybody, but I think any halfway decent fighter stands a pretty good decent chance against Fundora as long as they can get over the fact that he's super tall, but he doesn't use that height to his advantage though.
Ed, he used it versus Tim Tszyu. He used it. He used that jab. He was working off that stick versus Tim Tszyu. And yes, the cut, but he still was working off that jab and he used his length. That's a little surprising. Like he should have fought like that throughout his whole career. When he fought versus Tim Tszyu, that's when he adjusted and he made a difference. And that's the first time people were saying, one of the first time people were saying, dude, he's fighting off the jab and he's using his length for the first time. So if he does that, dude, he has a pretty good chance to winning the fight or even stopping this guy with no power. I know anything, no power still means anything. You still get knocked out, but man, I got Fundora.
And you know what, Demetrio is wrong. You know what? Yes, you and I, Ed, we had Santillan, but Mikey, he had Norman on that one. Mikey had Norman on that one. Remember when we were talking about Santillan and Norman?
Dimitrio's always wrong.
Norman.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah, man, what's up with you, Demetrio? Do your homework, Holmes.
I had Norman. No one's ever heard of Norman.
Cholo was wrong, not Mikey.
Me and Dave got in a fight on the air, right? Remember?
That's right, man.
My bad. I know the kids from San Diego, David. I know you're a San Diego native, and that's your boy. But I had to keep it real, 100.
That's right. And you were right. Yeah. You were right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Where do you guys have Fundora? He is your unified champion. Where do you guys have Fundora at 154? Do you have him in the top 5?
Yeah.
Can I? Yeah. I mean, let me count. Let me count. There's Buyachik. There's what's the other Russian?
Murtalov.
Murtazaliev.
You got my boy Virgil. Tim Tszyu, dude, he's just got knocked out. I got Fundora before Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu's probably done. He's damaged goods, man.
And then Matrimov, I still got Matrimov over him. So Matrimov I got him maybe 5.
Yeah,
5 out of 5. Yeah.
You want to put Charlo in there?
No.
Charlo number 5?
Well, I mean, we'll see. He's coming back.
Fundora's not that bad, but he's not great. All those guys could beat him. And he's been knocked out. He's not the best, but he will beat this guy. What are we talking about, Ed?
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
Hey, Ed, you know what, Ed? I'd like to see Fundora go to 175. Get some more muscle, get some more strength. You know what? I think he would be very good at 175. I just think he's awkward. He's too thin, and he's tall and lanky. I think you put muscle on him, put fat on him at 175. I think he'd be okay at 175. I think he could take that power. He'll probably get more power with more muscle.
Yeah, he looks scary, skinny. I was like, who the fuck is?
Who
the hell is that? I was like, oh shit, Fundora. He looked scary, skinny. He like
skinny. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like something out of a horror movie.
Yeah,
The,
he does,
look,
man. Stick man.
look, yeah, look, I was impressed when he fought Erickson Lubin, right? So
Yeah.
I'm,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not saying he's a terrible fighter. Nobody mistake what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just, man, I could name quite a few names of dudes that I think beat him.
Oh
Tim
yeah.
Zoo included. Tim Zoo
Him would have
included.
beat him. Yeah.
I think Tim Zoo will beat him. If there's a rematch, I got Tim Zoo.
Even though Tim
I
Tebow
got
You
got
know
Virgil
knocked
what,
out.
Ed?
Ortiz.
I
I got
don't know about that. I think Tim Zoo, if he wouldn't have gotten cut, he would have beat him. But
yeah.
now I want to see which Tim Zoo's coming back. Dude, that was
Exactly.
a devastating fight that he was involved in. I don't know, man. I'm 50-50. He's going to come back 100%. I'm 50-50 if he's going to come back. I mean,
Oh
I'm
well,
just,
he has a
you got
fight.
to
He has a fight against Joey Spencer coming up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Tim Zoo does, and if he gets past that fight, maybe we get Tim Zoo versus Keith Thurman, who actually
That,
looked pretty
that would
good.
be a good fight. Yeah.
He looked pretty good. He looked
Yeah.
pretty good. He looked all right.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Keith Thurman looked good in his last outing. I think he might give Sebastian a good run for his money.
No, come on. Tim Tebow
Ah,
didn't even fight. Tim Tebow he fought a who the hell was that guy? Like a pretty boy freaking
no,
YouTuber? Who was that guy?
you're talking about Keith Thurman. Yeah, Keith Thurman fought Brock Jarvis.
Who's that guy? Is he like a YouTuber? Was he a YouTuber? Come on, that guy didn't know how to fight. No,
Eh,
Fernandoro's not that bad. He's
he's
not
not.
great. He's in the bottom of the totem pole, but he beat some good opponents. You talked about that fight. Well,
Hey,
I
bro.
forgot that name of the fighter, but it was a great inside fighting. Boom, 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 boom. He's been knocked out. He beat Tim Tszyu on a great fight. Used his stick. Tim Tszyu was bleeding, but it's not his fault. It's Tim Tszyu's team's fault. They should have stopped it and gone to the scorecards. But that's the lack of experience. And so if Fedora got the W, give him the W. He's gonna use his length and he's gonna beat this guy. Booker ain't got no power, man. He's got no power.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Well,
hey, Ed, can I throw a quick shout out if you don't mind putting above
yeah.
Gordo Gordito?
Yes, sir.
Guys, Gordo Gordito was a Chicago cop for 25 years. He just retired last Friday. Thank you very much for your service, brother. And you made 25 years in Chicago, probably working the worst areas. Thank you for your service. Enjoy your retirement. And I know you love boxing. And without a doubt, you're going to move to Texas and you're going to start training fighters over there like you did there in Chicago. Thank you for your service, brother.
Thank you, sir. Chicago.
Eso, gordito. That's right, man. Enjoy the retirement, brother. All right, gentlemen. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Canelo news. What's going on with Canelo? Nothing.
Well, I mean, the card drop. We could get to that next week, man. But the card drop on
Oh yeah,
the
Tio.
fights that are
Tio.
gonna be
Let's get it to Tio real quick.
all right.
He's not training with Reynoso anymore. And I'm
That's
calling it
right.
right here. Tio's gonna lose versus your boy from where's he from? El Monte.
El Monte.
I'm calling
Yeah,
it
yeah.
right now, guys. Tio's gonna lose. This guy has skills. He has skills.
Barbosa, Arnold Barbosa.
Yeah.
He's good, man. He's hot. He's not the best, but he's fundamentally he's sound and defensively he's sound and he can move. Tio's not focused. His dad, he was supposed to train with Reynoso. His dad keeps saying on the internet, "No, I'm the lead coach. Reynoso's my assistant." And I think it went back to Reynoso, and they say, "Hey, dude, you gotta go, man. You know what? We'll train. Go. You train him."
Yeah.
Tio's not focused. His dad's not focused, man.
Okay, so I saw an interview that Ryan Garcia did with Aka Barak. By the way, I'm going to another Garcia family fight watch party. We're gonna do it in Palm Springs when he fights Rolly Romero, right?
Nice.
And Ryan is being trained by the Canelo camp all the way leading up to the fight. But obviously he's not gonna have him in his corner because he's gonna be in Saudi. But you're right, Mikey. Yeah, Tio. It looks like it's not happening, man. And you're picking Arnold Barbosa over Tio Fimo?
I got Barbosa. I'm gonna call it an upset right here, man. I call it. Barbosa is nice. Remember, Dave, I was talking trash about Barbosa. I went back and studied the tapes. That kid knows how to fight.
Mhm.
That kid's fire, man. He's dope. Fundamentally, he knows how to fight. he reminds me a little bit of Chicanito Hernandez with a little drop of a Terrence Crawford. I swear to God, man. A little drop of Terrence
Wow.
Crawford and a little bit of Chicanito Hernandez. I'm calling it, man. Unless he doesn't have no chin. But Teal doesn't hit at one. He doesn't hit hard at 147. I know where is 140, right?
140, 140, 140.
140. He doesn't hit hard at 140, but still, right? He still hits like good enough. But no, I think he's gonna give him a boxing lesson. He's gonna give Teal a boxing lesson. He has trouble with guys that move.
David, you got anything to add to that?
Hey, Ed, are you sure Ryan is still training with Eddie Reynoso? And if he is training with him, who's going to be in his corner the night before in New York?
I don't know who's
Because I
going to
had
be in
heard
his
he wasn't
corner.
no longer training with. I heard he wasn't training with Reynoso anymore either.
I saw in the interview that he was, and he was going to be training with him all the way up, leading up to the fight. But that no, they were not going to be in his corner because they were going to be in Saudi Arabia.
That doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
if he's
I-
being trained by Eddie, so somebody has to be there. I mean, who's Eddie's second?
I mean, it could be the dad. It could be they could be co-training him.
yeah.
Uh,
According to the dad's interview, he said that he's gonna be calling Reynoso over the phone. That they have a good relationship, but he knows how Eddie trains. But he's gonna train Ryan. He's gonna train Ryan for the fight because that fight is in the same weekend. So, but right now, from what you're saying, and I think I heard that Ryan's gonna be going to training camp right now in Lake Tahoe. They're still there, right?
yeah.
They're still in Lake Tahoe, so Ryan's gonna be there. But when Canelo leaves to Saudi Arabia, because he's gonna leave a little bit early, right? He's not gonna go for 1 day. He's gonna
Right.
like 2-3 weeks to get used to whatever. The dad's taking over. Is the dad's gonna train him for the fight? According to the
Okay.
interviews, it's the dad in the corner, but he knows how Eddie Reynoso works, and he's been with Eddie Reynoso for years, so he knows what Eddie Reynoso wants. So he's gonna emulate Eddie Reynoso what he wants, and he's gonna call him over the phone. But he's got Ryan over in his corner for that fight.
They're going to
Yeah.
train him via Zoom.
Yeah. So
Well, all right. Hey, and you know what? The irony of all this is that Teal was the one running his mouth on Ryan, saying like, "Who's training you? Who's training you?" Reynoso, I'm at Reynoso's camp. Who's gonna be training you, Ryan? Huh? Who's gonna be training you? Like he was trying to mock or get at under Ryan's skin. Like, oh, I got Eddie Reynoso, but who do you got? The irony here is that now Tio is out of that camp, so that's something else, man. But all right, hey, I'm really looking forward to that card. I really am, and
Yeah.
we'll definitely. As a matter of fact, that fight is on a Friday. Let's see if we do this live while I'm at the watch party. We're having the getting like a big old house out in Palm Springs, and the Garcia family, the ones that are not gonna go to New York, are gonna go to Palm Springs. So I'll be out there, man. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time, and that's gonna be knockout of the year. I'm calling it. That's gonna be knockout of the year. Well, we won't see um Rolly after that. The biggest fight Rolly will have after that is against George Kambosos in Australia. So, all right, gentlemen, that is David Contreras, Mike Zavala, Mikey TV, Cholo Truck, Los Tres Chingones Boxing. Enjoy the fights tomorrow. Whatever you guys do this weekend, be safe doing it so we can come back and do it again. Catch you guys on the next round.